Welcome back. My birds are throwing a fit today, so yeah. Anyway, I can't tell you, well I can tell you, but I can't show you what we're going to be making today because it's already been put into its appropriate Christmas bag. And so it's where the other gifts are. But we're going to be making a headless catfish, or a catfish that looks like the head's been cut off. So let's get into it, because there's not much more I can say for the outro, or the intro. Yes, this is definitely the outro, right at the beginning of the video, without having the product to show you. So, let's get started. I have selected my eyes of sacrifice, and obviously I have to paint them to be white. But before I paint them, also I chose these ones just because I have so many of these pairs, and rarely ever do I make a character with blue eyes. So I thought this would work out. And I'm going to use this piece of foam so I can have something to hold them while they dry after I paint them. But before I paint them, I have to sand them because they're so smooth the paint will not stick. And so I'm going to use this. I know it looks kind of dirty because I've used it for its intended purpose. This sanding block. And then I'm going to sand these, and then I will paint them with like just regular acrylic paint. And I think I'm going to seal them either. I wanted to try glue because it dries clear, but I don't think I could get it thin enough unless I dilute it. So maybe like clear nail polish or something to that degree. I don't know, but I'll figure it out. I had already started on the head, which is why I wanted to get the eyes done, because I'm going to put them in soon. And since this pattern is inspired by this post, but obviously it's going to be much bigger because this pattern for Lacanto, which we've made before, is actually just a massive pattern. And so I was thinking, how many rounds do I want to do before I start to do the decreases to make it where it looks like it's cut off? And I was thinking, okay, I'll do the math and do the total number of rows or rounds in the body divided in thirds, because a third of the fish presumably would be the head. And so that comes out to round 27. And so I need 2 more rounds before I put the eyes in. This is where they are even. I don't understand why when I make a pattern and I follow it exactly, the placement for the eyes is never correct. This is supposed to be 21 stitches apart. This is way more than 21. 21 stitches would have been like in the middle of the head. So it would have had an eye here and here. So I evened them out. But I think because these eyes that I'm using are kind of small, but they're going to have details. Oh, this is already going to look so cool. They're going to have like a round detail around them. I think I might move them up each 1 or 2 stitches on both sides, so that would just be here. But I will figure it out when we get 2 more rounds done, because that is when it will be time to put them in. Now, the pattern that I saw originally has this she said, I'm assuming it's a woman that made the pattern. She said that she used magnets to hold the fish together, which means she must have made it from this side. She must have started with the flat side, because otherwise there's no way to get a magnet inside of it once you close it. So I was thinking of doing Velcro, but I just don't think that would look right. So I think I'm just gonna leave mine 2 separate pieces that don't attach, and you can just, you know, put them next to each other on the shelf. But I'm gonna do 2 more rounds of this, and I'm gonna start making this section, the different colored section on the bottom, smaller, because it doesn't go down the whole body. It goes just maybe like this much further on the body. And then we'll put the eyes in, and I have to pick the colors I want to use to make the meat on the inside. I'm thinking one of them is going to be this yarn. This is the one I think I used for the body of Mary that I made for my nativity wreath. And then maybe a different pink. I don't think I'll do red. I think I'm going to do pinks. But we're not that far yet. I will come back to that. So I want to make the circles for the eyes before I do anything else. These are 12mm eyes. And so I think, I don't know what I think. I think, let's try 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then but before I close it, I stick my eyeball in there. Sometimes crocheting really is like a three-hand project. No, I think it needs to be more than that. I want it to come up around the edge of the eyes a little bit. I'll be right back. Okay, I settled on 10 half double crochet because that's the look that I wanted. So just gonna finish this off, and then I guess I'll tie it right so it doesn't come apart. That would be a good idea. And then I'm gonna go right here. Right there. And I had to switch to the pink even though I didn't get very far with it, just because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to make these because I didn't want to work from both ends of the skein. I might have to get out my squeezer thingamajiggy. Okay, hold on. This, oh, uh-oh. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, like the same I did with the Grinch which is the video hopefully that comes out before this one. I only want to click it onto the first one so that I can still get the needle behind the blue part to shape the face. And because I want this to look like it's in a socket of sorts, I'm not gonna glue this down like there's really no room to. Normally I would pull this over and like glue the edges down so that it looks more symmetrical, but I don't think I will be with this one because I prefer the way it looks like this. So I'm gonna hide the tails, and then I'll do the other eye, and I will obviously do the face shaping at the end. It's just easier to shape it when the head is, or whatever you're making, is fully stuffed, because sometimes if you do it prematurely the details shift and then they just don't look right. And then I'll do the same on this side. I wish there was a way to make these not. I mean, I guess they're not supposed to be straight. They are kind of supposed to curl, but not while I'm working on it. So, done with this. I had to put this, which one? This back on backwards because I could not squeeze hard enough to get this thing to put the back on without thinking that I was going to break this. Which I doubt it because it feels like it's made pretty sturdy. So, now I'm going to begin closing off the head. And the widest part of the head is a series of 10 single crochet increase. So that's where I'm going to start for decreases. 10 single crochet decrease. Mind you, this is not the actual pattern that is linked in the description. Okay, so if you go there looking for it, it's not going to be there. Okay? This is a combination of an idea and a pattern. So I have 6 so far. So, I'm doing back loops only too, because back loops only as well, because there's going to be some details worked into the front loops that are left here. And it's basically going to be to cover up this ugly seam. Also to help the head lay flat once I start to close it, instead of looking like a ball. So, how many is that? 7? Should I do invisible decrease? I don't think I will. I think I'll do a regular decrease. I'm now at the point where I have to pick my second pink. And at first I was gonna do... Where's the one that I showed you? Was it this one? I don't remember. But I think if I did this one, I don't know. I might have enough. Well, let's see. Let's bring them all into frame. Let's bring all the contenders into frame. Kinda. There. Okay. Looking at them through the camera. I think I'm gonna go with this one. I like this one, but this color is more muted, and so I think this pink that's more muted suits this one better. So I could do all 3. I just don't know if I would get an even like alternation of them, because let's see, there's only going to be 10 rounds closing the head, 11 at most, and that's 2 numbers that 3 doesn't go into. So if I do 2 and I make it 10 rounds, then I would get 5 rounds of each. And so I think I'm gonna do that. So this next round is going to be 9 single crochet, decrease 6 times. So I've finished the head, and I still have to shape it, of course. It just looks like a blob right now, but I do think it looks really cool. And I understuffed it a bit so that this could stay as flat as possible. It's not as flat as I would like it to be, but it's alright. It'll work. And then of course I still have to add the detail here on the outer circle. So let's do the face shaping, and I'm probably going to be done for the night. So I might have to use a longer needle. This head is kind of big. So yeah, I think I'm going to use a bigger needle. Hold on. Or not bigger, just longer. This is completely irrelevant. Can I just gripe for a second? I've been sitting here crocheting this for maybe 40 minutes. And as soon as I start recording the first segment about saying that I finished the head, I had to sneeze. And I don't know why that irritated me so badly. It shouldn't have. Just that I've been sitting here doing, nothing besides making this, when I had all the time in the world to sneeze and it didn't matter. But then when I'm trying to do something productive and film the next part of the video, no, all of a sudden I gotta sneeze. So if you notice that I paused the video back a few minutes, maybe now at this point ago, yeah, that's because I had to sneeze. And that's gross. Now that I have the head finished, I went ahead and just did the barbell, the second one off screen. But that's this. Cut and glued the ends so they wouldn't come apart, because I didn't want to leave giant tails hanging off of them, right? So this is the head. Oh, and I also did this edge detail here. In the pattern, in the inspiration I showed at the beginning, it's different. And that's because I'm not trying to copy that pattern exactly, because to me that feels like stealing it, right? So, we're moving on to the body now. So, in order to start the body, I just have to do the reverse of what I did to close the head, which is start with this pink piece here, and then move back into the blue. I also need to count how many blue stitches I have so I can line it up on the body, but I will do that when it comes to it. So, we're going to start with the darker pink, and a magic ring of 6, and then I will work it back up to 10 single crochet increase, alternating colors every round. But I'm gonna complete my magic circle with an extra single crochet, to which I will then change to my second color, which is this lighter pink one. And now of course I'll be working still in back loops only. I cut out this cardboard circle to put behind this, like when I start to stuff it. to keep it flat, but we don't need that right now. I counted how many of the dark blue stitches I had just because those are the ones I want to start with, which would be this color on the bottom of the head, and the one that we use for the eyes and the second barbell. And I counted 27, and I don't want to have an odd number. I think it's because I counted this first stitch here that I made to start this edge. I started with the dark blue. So I think to have an even amount, I'm going to do 26. And actually, first, hold on. I want to see, let me pull up the pattern because I want to see the total number of, oh, I just almost knocked my earbud off my laptop. I want to see the total number of stitches I should have in the widest round of the head that I left off on. That'll help me decide how many I'm going to do. So, I'm on round 28. 29 technically, because I did an extra round of single crochet on the head just to kind of even everything out before I did the edge and started to decrease. So that means I should have 50, okay, I should have 72 stitches. So that would leave me with, I can't do math, hold on. So that would leave me with 46 stitches for the regular blue color that we did for the body, which eventually over time will become more because as I make the length of the body, well, this color is not carried on forever. Like I said, it ends about a few rows out, and then you just work with the body color. So I'm gonna have, when I say 46, this should be, if I counted, which I'm not going to, but this should be 46 stitches of the light blue color. So I'm going to start with, actually, I'll be right back. So yes, it actually is 26 stitches, so I'm glad that I counted just to make sure my extra stitch doesn't count, because I was technically adding +1. So we're going to do 26 stitches on here with this blue to make the bottom, and then the rest will be with the regular blue. Alright, you guys, I'm having to make an executive decision to not throw my phone out of where it's supposed to be. Even though I've gotten this far in the body, this is too big, somehow. I didn't even end up doing 10 single crochet increase, and it's still bigger than this is. So, I have to take out all of this. I hate undoing color work because I don't always carry my ends, and so that's going to be a lot of wasted yarn, but I could just put it back in when I stuff it later, so it won't be that big of a waste. But I'm going to undo this last round here, this last pink round, and so I will only have 8 single crochet increase. And even if it doesn't line up exactly, that's okay. I doubt I'll ever be making another one of these. So if I can just make it work for this one modified pattern, then that's fine. But it does have to fit together, because in the shelf or on the shelf, it's gonna have to sit, you know, put together like this. And the pink is not supposed to be visible. I could, if I really wanted to, make it, like I could just do like an increase round around here, but that's kind of really cheap, like a cop-out of not having to undo all of this work. And I don't want the body to be twice as big as the head. And also, my color work somehow still does not line up. If I line it up like this on the edge, on this side, over here, it's not the same. So I'm gonna painstakingly undo all this. Please be so proud. I finally made it out of the body. Now I'm working on the tail. And it's just back and forth, over and over and over with double crochet until you get to this side. So it's going to be, you know, flared as a tail would. And then we finally get to move on to everything else, which goes pretty quickly once you finish the body. Okay, today is Thanksgiving in the US, and I am tired of looking at this fish, so I want to get it done. I finished the body like I said or did not say. I think I did. But these are, hold on, let me look at the pattern. It's right here in front of me. I think these are, oh, it just says mini side fins. Oh, ×4. I didn't know I was supposed to make 4 of them. I was only making 2. That's okay. They're easy to make. I just didn't read it all the way. This right now is called a picot stitch, which is French. The word is French, which is basically a chain 3, and then you slip stitch into the first chain, and slip stitch here, and slip stitch here, and then you repeat over and over and over until the end. So since I now have to make 4 of these and not 2, I think I'll be back when I'm done with the 4th one. This is going to be the front dorsal fin, and I'm almost done with it. I really like this blue yarn. It's just, I mean, it looks kind of speckled. when you work it, which I think is what I like about it, and it breaks up the monotony of the other just plain blue that I was using. So I'm almost done with this. I think after this I'm going to make the gills, and then I actually shouldn't have too many fins left to make. I forgot what this was called. I almost called it a feather. Yeah, I definitely have pet birds. Okay, so I finished all the fins and I started assembling. This is the front dorsal and the back dorsal. I have this yellow thread here because I put some glue. Well, I was wondering at first, like, see, I didn't even actually finish sewing this one. I was wondering why I made so many of these little fins, because I was like, there's no way these are all gonna fit on the fish. I forgot that 2 of them are meant to go on each side of the tail, so I sewed them down, glued them, made like a tail sandwich, and just wove this through it to hold it, so I didn't have to pin it to anything and I could still move the fish to sew other things on. And I made all the spots. They're laying over here in this precarious pile of stuffs, of various stuffs. So I oh, I forgot I had the long needle in here that I almost just jabbed into my hand. Good thing I didn't. And I'll sew the other one on. I will glue it down. Okay, first of all, hold on, put a pin in that. I'm having a dilemma on the gills, which is why I didn't finish sewing the first one the first time. Also because my mom and I and my sister went somewhere in the car, and I don't take my crochet stuff with me in the car. This is a gill, right? Typically when you cut the head off a fish, you cut it behind the gills. But I thought if I made this sticking off of the head, it would look really strange. Right, so the way this is going to sit in the shelf is the head is not going to sit flat, but the weight of the head is gonna, it's gonna like lean down like this. And so I honestly think that if I would have cut the body any shorter and added more rows to the head, that this fin would not have fit because it's already right up against this one. It's technically not supposed to be, but I didn't have any more room on this side. So if I was to set it flat, right, like it would be on the shelf, and put the head and just let it sit as it naturally would, the gills would be sticking out from the sides of the head. I think they look better attached to the body. I know it's not, you know, anatomically correct, but this fish isn't real, so it's okay. So the other gill is going to go on this side, obviously, and then afterwards, once I make sure they're aligned, I will glue them so they're not flip-flapping around everywhere. And then I have these to sew on, and this is my other gill, and then I have my other small fins to put on all these spots, and we are almost done. I am probably going to glue these. I am not trying to sew. How many spots were there? 10. I'm not about that. They're going to get glued on. You would not think, and I didn't either, that gluing yarn would be very effective, but for the majority of acrylic, because it's kind of rougher and so it's more textured, even some of the softer acrylics they work. They stick together. And it's called Glue All. Even the Craft Bond, Elmer's Craft Bond, is really good for using. I haven't used Craft Bond in a long time. I have some. This bottle's just way bigger, so I'm using this. This is 16 ounces of glue from Walmart for like $3 or $4, and this has lasted me a long time. Granted, I have put some Craft Bond into it, so it's like a hybrid mix of Elmer's Glue All and Elmer's Craft Bond. But glue is glue. And I almost just threw it off my desk into the floor. So the last thing is to place the spots, and some of them, the smaller ones, I'm going to put on the head. It really is kind of bugging me how the original pattern I took the inspiration from had magnets in the head, but there's no way to, the way that I worked there was no way to put one in. So if I wanted to sit, you know, like one piece, I could always run a skewer through it. But I made it to be 2 pieces, so it's going to be 2 pieces. But get all my dots or spots, whatever you want to call them. The smallest ones are 8 single crochet in a magic ring. And I might just put 1. Because they're not really that small. The whole fish is kind of pretty big. Yeah. Anyway, I'll be back at the end, and when I'm back, it'll be done. Finally. So, I finished it, but I'm thinking, dangerous, I know. Do I want to do another round around the head? Just because when you hold it up next to the body, you know, and it's supposed to look like one piece, I do want the pink part to be a little more hidden. And so I think I am gonna do just, so you know how like I had to take out a round of increases here? That means the round that I would do here would probably be 9 single crochet increase, and it would just give this a bit more of like a flare, kind of, to give more coverage of this. But this is how the body came out. Everything's a little what's the word, cramped, because the body is not as long as it would be, you know, naturally if the head was attached. But I think it looks really cool, and if my dad doesn't like it, I'm keeping it because I think it came out really cool. Especially the head. I love how, I mean, the eyes, you know, I painted them white, so I was expecting them to come out white, but I just think it looks cool. So this video will not be out probably till either, I really don't want to wait till Christmas to post this. So maybe I'll give this to my dad for his birthday, which is in like earlier December, and then I have another gift I can give to him for Christmas. Because I only have maybe like one more crochet idea for this year that I do want to get started on, and I guess it wouldn't really hurt to post the videos out of order. I just have very limited camera space on my phone. Like right now, my phone has me on a timer of I can only film another 40 minutes. You and I both know, chances are, I could not make a crochet video in 40 minutes. I would need more time. It's mostly because I have so many videos of my pets. I might have to go through them and delete some. So, this is done. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know I didn't film a lot of making the fins and stuff, and it's just because it's a lot of the same color. Right? Almost all the fins are made in the darker blue color. These are made in the body color and trimmed with blue, the dark blue color. So there's not much diversity of color to see here. So, thank you for watching. I will be back at some point. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. I should have said those in reverse order. Anyway, I'll see you next time.